Barrister Dr. Ojo, so let's start with you on this issue of Emefiele. Given the allegation of corruption against Emefiele during his tenure as the CBN governor, how do you think that the regulatory framework can be strengthened to avoid occurrence of similar issue in the future?
Okay, thinking very deeply, if we look at the CBN Act, there is a need for it to be amended. There is a need for, you see, there are a lot of things that are being done whimsically by CBN governor. You just remove this, you just dissolve board, you just board of banks, you are the one that will approve certain things, you say it should go ahead. There is a need for us to look at the legal framework that establishes the CBN. The 1991 was there, they amended it, I think the latest one. No, that's the latest one now, 2007 or thereabout. But having said that much, let us look at the law, the powers of the CBN governor. No other CBN governor, no other central bank governor in the entire world has that kind of a power, because he can print your naira at will. He can do almost everything. He decides this, he decides that. So we should be able to look at monetary policies, regulatory policies. We must be able to look at economic policies. Which one do we confer on him? So these are things that it's because it's like he has all of this together as a portfolio. So I think basically there is a need for us to look at the law. It's extremely powerful. In fact, outside the president of the country, the CBN governor is the most powerful. As we state.
Okay, Barrister Obiorome. Yes, he has talked about the rejigging the legal framework of the CBN, you know, to ensure that there is adherence to the rule of law. But then there was flagrant abuse of power, judging from the reports coming in. Even the law that we have in place was not even followed. For instance, the Naira redesign. They report that the CBN didn't follow the recommendation of the board, and that even the president did not even approve it, judging from the report. So how could that have something as sensitive as the redesign of a country's currency, you know, fail?
Somebody said if it were to be in China, the man should be tied to the stake and shot it.
And no, fail to follow this due process, and even escaping the prying eyes of some oversight function of the National Assembly. How was this allowed to go under the radar?
That is the big question. How was it allowed to go on? I agree with my brother here that there needs to amend the Central Bank Act. But then even the extant one now, we saw instances of violation of the Central Bank Act. For example, the Central Bank Act says that when the Central Bank is to give loan to the government, it does not be more than 5% of the previous budget of the government. But in Emefiele's case, what we saw was that the Central Bank gave as much as 15% of the previous budget of the government, which was clear violation of the CBN Act. Section 38(2), subsection 2 and 3 made it clear that the limit is 5%. And surprisingly, the National Assembly okayed it, approved it, even though it was clearly a violation of the Central Bank Act. We also saw that in spite of the fact that there are shade rules, the Minister for Finance has had Zainab Ahmed had her own role to play. The Central Bank governor had his own role to play. But in the issue of Naira redesign, the minister claimed she was not aware. How can that be?
Okay.
Now, we have to, like my brother said, we have to do a distinction between fiscal policies and monetary policies and so on. Even the former governor went outside the purviews or the provisions of the Constitution to nurse partisan political ambition. The Constitution said a central bank governor, in order to avoid partisan politics, must not be involved in politics. Yes. But he decided even to vie for the presidency of this nation. But you see,
and heaven did not fall. Nobody was even there to ask him questions.
that he couldn't scale the hurdle of the ticket of
Okay,
the
okay, but Dr. Ojo, going from there because of want of time, so that would.
Okay, and also
let me allow you to
also
land.
the issue of the cryptocurrency policy. In some other jurisdictions, they say allow the cryptocurrency thing, but he came up with a policy that said no. In a single suit, nullified everything that had to do with the cryptocurrency and all the financial institutions and other banks not to have anything to do with it. Even the central bank governor used the principle of the DSS to monitor those that were, doing bureau de change, those that were selling above the government pegged 400 to $1. Such things are not supposed to be allowed. And again, there were multiple exchange rates. Thank God the current president has corrected that. Before now, you have different exchange rates.
Insider trading.
And so on.
Okay, Dr. Ojo. Moving from that, we've talked about the issue of rejigging the framework. But with what the revelations we are getting, is this an issue of framework or is this an issue of connivance? Because when we look at the infraction, this infraction could not have been committed by just one person without passing to a lot of other persons, National Assembly, the President, so many other institutions that are supposed to serve as an oversight,
Basically, the number one problem, like we analyzed, like we identified rather, is the fact that the man, when you put a man in the position of a CBN governor, as we speak today, the man is extremely powerful. If his wings are not removed, if all those powers are not taken away, this kind of impunity that we witness will continue to be there. In fact, he has the ability to render the board almost useless. And that he did by using, all you need to do is when you have people who are not too assertive, because we might come to the conclusion that it's not every president that is assertive. Not all. But if you meet a president that is assertive, somebody said, we have a president, he gives you an assignment, he goes back. He doesn't ask you a question. You have another president, he gives you an assignment, he monitors you. There tendency that you will have a laid-back president or a laid-back leader who will say, look, I've given him the assignment. Then under a situation like that, people can explore these leakages, just like they have did in the case of Emefiele now. And we are living in a very unique country, a peculiar country. If you have that money and it's a big largesse that you are taking a loan, and the man is asking, oh boy, what is going on there? You say, take your own. And he collects it, and if it's fat enough, when you get 100 Nigerians together, for you to have two that does not have a price, that will not name their price, it's going to be very, very rare. So apparently, if you have like 98 people agree with him, what do you expect? The National Assembly, did they not agree with him partially, tactically? Even the people at the presidency, did they not agree with him tactically? Because the bulk of the money that is sent out to the bureau for this exchange thing and all whatnot, the rumors are there in the mill. I wouldn't know the involvement of Dangote and Co. These are powerful Nigerians. All you need to do is enlist their support. Then as a CBN governor, you have no issue. So by then, we are getting to a level, if there are consequences for our act, then definitely it will put a lot of things into check. If what is going on now can be pursued to the conclusion, perhaps it will be better. Because it's not about you. You can explore the law, no matter how good the law is. People always look for avenue to circumvent it. And I think as the CBN Act that we have currently might not be the very best, but then the loopholes were explored by Emefiele and all his cronies to do what they did.
Okay. Barrister Obiorama, shouldn't I think the president, having commenced this probe, and also we are inundated with the fact that the president, the new CBN governor, has released a financial statement of the CBN, which was not done for the 8 years the president. I think, what do you have to say about all of this development? Is it the right step in the right direction?
Yes, they are highly commendable steps by the present administration. In fact, the way it is going, everybody is happy. Because you cannot see a lonely situation and you keep mute. You understand? Now, the Emefiele regime was an error. That in fact, one Professor Moralu said that was the worst central bank government that Nigeria have ever had since Nigeria became one nation. He said so. Now, we also remember that even Emefiele, as central bank governor, went publicly to attempt to invalidate an order of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said that the old note will remain at legal tender till 31st of December 2023. This man came out to say that by the end of February last year, that it ceases to be legal tender. That was an affront on the judiciary. How can a person, a central governor for that matter, come out to attempt to confront the judgment and order of the highest court of the land? Okay. It's not done anywhere.
Mr. Obiorama, we're almost out of time.
That's why we should go back to what he said, that could he have done all of this alone? He had some powers that
were backing him.
Otherwise, without the presidency, how could he come out and say, I don't agree with Supreme Court? He did it because they were backing him up.
President.
He did it because they backed him up.
So, that we have spent a lot of time.
Yes,
we're almost out of time.
Yes.
I'm sure that the viewers are entertained and enlightened at the same time.
Yes.
So let us get your final words before we meet next week on these two issues we've taken today.
Yes,
and to Nigerians, obviously.
Final was that we are all glad that the judgments of the Supreme Court is in tune with the expectations of the masses. And then the efforts of the investigative team on the Central Bank is commendable. In fact, this present government is doing a lot to overhaul the system, because we cannot expect a different result when we keep on doing the same thing.
All right, thank you very much on that. We can't expect different results when we keep doing the same thing. Sorry, Dr. Adekunle. So let's get your last words.
Basically, wrapping it up, I could see what I call purposive interpretation in the way the Supreme Court handled all its matters, and I think that is the way it should go. And coming back to the economy, I think the way we are going, if only we could be patient, there is going to be light at the end of this tunnel. The way the government is moving, the CBN is moving, the economy might just come back any moment from now by the grace of God.
All right, thank you very, very much on that one. This is where we'll draw the curtain on today's edition. Follow us on our social media channels. We'll meet you same time next week. So, stay tuned.